This time, we finish up this series by discussing my third dad. If you haven't had a chance to see the other videos, please go check them out. Hello YouTube, I'm Andrew, and welcome back to How to Be Dadly. Sorry I didn't get a chance to post last week. Last week we had a tropical storm come through and I was feeling a little ill, so I didn't get a chance to post, so sorry about that. Right around the time I met my biological dad, Mike, my third dad came into my life. My mom was a strong, loving, and outgoing woman. She was well regarded by anyone she interacted with. She had quite a few challenges in her life, and unfortunately, several of her relationships soured. As a child of the late 90s, we didn't get internet access until I was in high school, right around the time she and Bob split up. My mom got involved in some chat groups, and this is where she met the love of her life, Gary. He was in Pennsylvania. She was in a tiny town in the middle of Nevada. They would chat every night. They started a long-distance relationship. He moved to Las Vegas for a new job, and my brothers and I met him. He and my mom were almost exactly the same age. They had been together for several months when we took a trip to visit her parents, my grandparents, and introduce them. Bob hadn't gotten along with my grandpa very well, and that resulted in us not visiting very often. It was important to my mom that she be able to reconnect with her parents, and that Gary have a good relationship with them. Like me, my mom tends to fall in love very quickly. This time it stuck. She asked my brothers and me how we felt about him. She was very happy, so we were happy. On that trip to visit my grandparents, she proposed to him. He said yes. He said yes, even though she had 3 kids and would be coming in right in the middle of our lives. He said yes, even though for my sake, she stayed in this tiny town after they got married so I could finish high school. He said yes, even though every other weekend they would have to drive my younger brothers 6 hours to switch off with Bob per the visitation agreement. Gary is an engineer by training. He and I were able to connect really well. I really admire him. I wish I could have had more time to get to know him better, but right after high school, I was off to university and would only be home on breaks. Then during the summers, I would have internships in other parts of the country. He, like my mom, was supportive of what I wanted to do. Even when my mom didn't understand why I was making some of the decisions I was, he would help her understand that it was me finding my way. There are regrets that I have during this time, but he was supportive the whole way. If there was something I wanted to try, he would help to make it happen. He really helped to step up and do a great job in raising my brothers through a very challenging part of any child's life, the teen years. My brothers would rebel and do regular teen stuff. It would fluster both my mom and Gary, but they were always there for them. He was a consequence-based kind of father. We made mistakes, and he would be there to help us deal with the consequences ourselves. When my wife and I moved across country for more of my schooling, he helped drive the moving truck. One of my favorite memories is when he took us, my grandparents, my brothers, all on a grand, adventurous vacation to Mexico. He also helped my next oldest brother, just down from me, get his dream job. He and my mom were hit hard by the financial collapse of 2008, but they made it through. The only real fight I remember them having was when he felt my mom didn't have his back on some issue with my brothers. Other than that, they were a unified team. He has a snarky and sarcastic sense of humor, but he is also super smart and supportive. He was always there for my mom, even as she died of pancreatic cancer. He held her and he told her it was all right to go as she took her final few breaths. The only time I had heard him cry was when he called to tell me that she had passed. I wish I had been there. I was planning on going out to visit a few weeks later, but she took a really quick turn. They had always wanted to take a world adventure trip. He was finally able to do that a few years later. My children adore their Pop Pop. Well, there it is, the story of the 3 men in my life who are my dads. Some of the relationships aren't as strong as they could be. Some came later in my life. Some are great examples of how to be a man or a father. All of them have loved me. They have been integral in the man I have become and have helped inform the kind of dad I am trying to be. So I hope you enjoyed those stories. What are some ways a father figure in your life has affected you? Share it in the comments, like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.